So today we are going to take a peek at and test and review the So today we're taking a peek at this guy. This is Litheli's EasySurge 18.5-inch lawnmower. It's all electric. It's got a battery compartment in here. I did kind of a first thoughts video as well as a unboxing setup video on this guy already. Now that we're finally warm enough and I actually have grass, I've already started mowing on this guy, but at the end of this video I'm going to have a more thorough set of thoughts on it. I've already played around with it. I played around with it more when I didn't really have grass to mow. But today we're actually mowing grass, so let's get to it. Talk about the mower. Okay, welcome back to techgooch, and like if you've watched my other videos on this guy so far, and I will link them in the description, some of this might be a review. But this is the main mower section. Under here we do have four 4-amp-hour batteries, so if I click the button here, these are 4-amp-hour batteries. Boom, 20,000 milliamp hours each. If I click a button up here, it'll actually give me the how much, I guess, rough charge rating by a light bar. But I did get these fully charged for this specific purpose. Now, one thing real quick that I'm going to mention that I think is a failure in somebody's imagination when they designed this is, you can see when you actually put it in here, it actually goes in one direction for sure. If you put it in the wrong way, you can actually push this down. Not terribly hard. These channels don't line up, but I did actually make the mistake of putting one in and actually sliding it down. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then, of course, I got it down there and it can't actually connect. It took some prying to get that guy back out. In all reality, it shouldn't allow you to even come close to putting this in here. So that is one thing that I will say is a drawback. You can fairly easily put this in backwards. It will never connect. You'll have to get it out somehow. And what I did, as you can actually see, there's actually some marring marks on here. I had this one in backwards. I just took a kind of a flat bar and kind of went like this a couple times, and it was able to come back out. But I wanted to bring that up real quick. Moving up the mower, we do have this handle here that actually, if we actually open this up, we can basically go to retract this. Makes it really nice for putting it away. There's only two spots that you can actually put this back down, all the way down or all the way out. And so you can see there's actually two holes essentially, and that's the only two spots that you can actually put that. And then same with the actual angle on the handle itself. We can actually set this at two different degrees as well. So 45 and 55. That's 45. I loosen that up, I put it up. That's 55. Not a whole lot of difference, but it does make a difference where the handle's actually at, so it does lower it several inches. Other than that, it's folding it all the way over for storage. So actually, before we get to the actual controls, let's talk about underneath. Now, first things first, one of the big pains, in my opinion, on this guy as well, is when you have it sitting up like this, there's no way for me to lean it to hold itself up. It doesn't really have a mode to hold itself up. That's a drawback as well. Secondly is, if you actually look in here, we do have a blade here, but there's no actually like mulching pieces on this blade. It's a very simple blade. Now, of course, it's better than just like using the little razor blade ones, but you pretty much don't see that on true mowers like this one is. So that is one thing I want to say. I don't know how well this is going to mulch just because it's a very basic blade. Okay, now let's talk about controls. This is the control system. We have buttons here and here for thumbs. We have this back bar here for basically the safety piece. We have the starter button down here to actually put power to the actual mower itself. And then we have a power button and then two knobs. And in the center here, our battery meter and EasySurge button. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit the power button to turn this guy on, and right away you can see that we do have our battery meter here. We can see that one's down a little bit, and that's because I actually did start mowing, so I have used it a little bit already, so it's not full. That makes sense. I can set my speed over here, how fast I want to actually go. I can set my cut height here by just adjusting. Oh, you see what that down to 3. I can bring it back up to 4. I can set, that's the cut height. Now, this is how you do it right here on this. It's not a manual lever. In all reality, this is neat. It makes it real easy. I don't have to get up to the mower, but I would prefer just a standard one set height and handle down below that's mechanical. and, you know, sets it to the height, and that way it's not accidentally bumped while I'm going. So I will say that I prefer that as a manual piece. Not a bad thing. We set our speed, we set our cut height. To go, we just push one of either of these buttons, the thumb button. So if I push on it, away she starts going. You can see there was a lag there, right? It's not instantaneous when I click that button. It doesn't just go. It kind of waits a second and then goes. That hesitation kind of gets annoying, I'll be honest about it. The second thing that actually gets annoying is when it's not engaged, it actually is fairly easy to push this around, make turns. But if I engage this and don't let it come to a complete stop, both rear wheels are locked and I can't just turn the mower real easily. I gotta wait for it to disengage before I can turn. That is an annoyance I brought up about my steel review way back when. I'll try to demo this real quick. If I push the button, and then it doesn't do it all the time. It's not as bad as the steel was. That basically was an every time thing, but I did want to make sure I brought that up. And then lastly, to start the mower, it's a combination of this safety level here and this button, but you have to hit them in the specific order. You have to push this button in first, and then grab this and go. So that's our mower. That's how we're starting. That's how we're using it. And I'm going to go ahead and cut some more grass. Okay, now that we've cut some grass, let's talk about this button in the middle where the battery indicators are. This is what they call EasySurge mode. If I click this button, you can see the lights go up around it and they're kind of flashing, and EasySurge goes on from normal before. EasySurge basically puts more power with the, you know, basically overclocks the motor and allows you to put more power in, so that if you're going through a much deeper patch of grass, you get a lot more power out of it. So let's see how much of a difference that makes when cutting grass. All right, I'm gonna go a little faster this time too. Real quick, definitely more power, without a doubt. It definitely is cutting better on that EasySurge. The problem is, that's where I would expect it to cut normally, at least in the grass that I have. In this case, this normal mode is definitely when you're not taking a whole lot off, and the EasySurge is going to give you the power to go through, well, especially the beginning grass here that, you know, you don't cut it right away and it gets all uneven because it's been sitting all winter, right? So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, we're gonna get into it a little bit right now, and I'm gonna talk about where I put this, and I'm gonna judge it based on the selling cost. Right now, you can buy this for $349. I think the retail is like $450 or something. Right now, you can get it for $349. I'm gonna judge it based on what if I was to buy this for $349 today. And I'm gonna start off by saying, I don't see it. I honestly don't see a $349 value in this specific mower. There's a lot to like about Litheli's viewpoint and how they're doing these batteries and everything, and it seems to be like they're going to last quite a while. You're going to do a lot of lawn. But I do have to compare it to other mowers on the market and the quality that you're getting. Now, for $349, you're getting a lot of mower. I'll be honest about that, but the build quality is not there. I'm going to explain that. First things first, lots of plastic. Very, very little metal at all. And the best way to describe it is just by pushing this guy around. You can see this, it has this huge amount of flex to it. It shouldn't have that much flex to it. I understand they were going for this really neat like race car driving steering wheel. Just put a standard handle on it and put the controls on that standard handle. This would have been a much better mower if the handle didn't feel like I was gonna break it every time I was doing the 90-degree turn. And all but one of those turns, the wheels locked up and I just had to wait for it to come to a complete stop to do my spinning round. That's really annoying. And when I was doing it, actually, if you watched on one of them, I literally picked the mower basically off the ground because of the fact that it just wouldn't unlock and I didn't have the patience to wait for it to unlock. It's really, really annoying. I don't like doing bad reviews. This is not a bad product, but at $349, I would expect something to be built a little bit heavier. Also, this control board, really neat, and going back between everything works good, but I can't tell you how many times that I've turned this on and I get an error that it's not adjusting the height. Yep, there it goes. So now it says level 0 and it's giving me an error. I have no idea why. Sometimes if I just power cycle it, it works again. There we go, we're at level 5. I want to go down to 4. Nope, didn't like that one. But you can see that's really annoying. That should not happen. The only way that I've gotten around it is going back to the battery box, unplugging the batteries, plugging them back in. Now it says I'm on 4, but now it's working again. And this is the main reason that I would much rather prefer a manual way to raise and lower this. Putting a motor on there is going to make it more expensive when it shouldn't be. Now I should mention I'm using this kind of as a mulcher. It does have a bag that comes with it, and you just basically pull this handle out right here and put the bag on, and then you have a bagged mower. If you want a bagged mower, this comes with it. It's ready to roll, or if you want to mulch, obviously it's ready to go as well. Now, I did a video about this product launch at CES. I was kind of not smitten, but I was very much looking forward to it. At CES, I even thought, oh, you know, the handle definitely seems loose, but maybe this is a prototype model, you know, when I actually eventually hopefully get my hands on one, you know, it's going to be a little bit different. But if you're in a building on carpet and things seem maybe a little bit loose, try that when you get in an actual rough yard cutting grass. So, this specific product, the Litheli EasySurge 18.5-inch cordless mower, do I recommend it? I do not recommend it. It has nothing to do with Litheli's batteries or any of the capability that they have with this. It is literally this mower specifically. It is not built, at least, for the North American market. I can honestly say that because I'm comparing this to every mower that I've ever used, and it just doesn't live up to my expectations. So if you have any questions or concerns, post those below. Let me know what you think of it. If you've actually gotten your hands on one of these or something similar from Litheli, they have other mowers as well. This is just their newest and greatest one. Litheli, really, all you really have to do with this, it's a couple things. One, replace the handle. The handle kills it. The handle is just not there. The mower, not terrible, actually cuts pretty darn good. But that handle drives me insane. It just feels cheap. It feels like it's going to break, and I do not enjoy it at all. Second thing, that whole mechanism with the delay and pushing the button and actually doing the self-power, that is really annoying. And also the wheels that lock up, so they lock up and you can't turn manually when you let go of the button unless you let it come to a complete stop. That's crazy. And the third is the powered raise and lower of the cut height. Just go to a manual one, save the money, and it works way better than this because this locks up on me all the time. That's my review. That is the Litheli EasySurge 18.5-inch mower. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for checking us out here on techgooch. Hopefully we'll see you back here for another video review. Thanks for stopping by.